Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard University studied the reasons for upward socioeconomic mobility in the United States. Dr. Edward wanted to know how we can predict whether an individual or a family was going to move upwards, one or more socioeconomic groupings, and become wealthier in the next generation than they were in the present and the former ones. All of his research brought him to a single factor that he concluded was more than accurate than any other in predicting success.
And that is?
Subscribe!
Time perspective. The amount of time that we take into consideration when planning our day-to-day activities and while making important decisions in our life. Time perspective refers to how far do we project it into the future when we decided what we're going to do, or not to do, in the present.
It's like trying to imagine what effects does our current action has to our future life several years after.
Quite right. Except that, instead of exploring the vast areas related to the implementation of time perspectives, we are narrowing it down to how it affects our future savings and financial planning.
Since you're putting it that way, our discussion would be closely related to how our financial action or decision of today would be projected as the outcome results for the future.
You can say it that way. Allow me to elaborate. A young couple puts aside $50 a month as an education fund, so that their newborn child could go to the college, or the university of his or her choices, when the time comes. The couple's decision to start saving for their child during infancy shows that the couple has a long-term time perspective. They started to allocate a small portion of their income and started to save early. When the time comes 10 to 20 years later, the accumulated amount of money saved would be sufficient to sustain their child's higher education expenses. The couple are willing to sacrifice the short-term agendas to ensure a better and secure outcome for the long-term purpose. For this couple, it's the solid funding for their child's future education.
That, or in comparison, to scrambling around, scrapping funds when the college or university acceptance letter came knocking at the front door.
Time perspective is an essential measure of social class. A wealthy family or good education background will help, but ultimately, our level of status and prestige will be determined by how well planned our future is, as we go about our daily life. The example doesn't stop there. We can use time perspective in a wide areas related to long-term planning. For example, taking additional classes or training courses in order to upgrade your working skills will increase your value within your organization. You're acting with a long-time perspective, and will have a practical and useful effect on your career. Long-term financial perspective helps us in our preparation for our future upcomings, such as managing our savings and making full use of the dividend and compound interest benefits. Our retirement funds, health expenses, asset, as well as property managements, amongst many other things. The opposite of a long-time perspective is no time perspective at all. The average professional has a time perspective of 10, 15, even 20 years. Perhaps longer. The average laborer has a time perspective of about 2 payment periods. The derelict, the drug addict, the alcoholic has a time perspective of hours, some even minutes. It's impossible for them to have a long-time perspectives about their future. The most, until the next bottle or the next addiction. Self-gratification, which is the tendency to spend everything we earn for the sake of fun, easy and enjoyable, is the primary cause of economic and personal failure. Self-gratification puts our long-time perspective plan in jeopardy.
Each person's position and direction in life, from the top to the bottom of the society, are determined by the length of their time perspective. So think about your future today, plan, invest, sacrifice, delay gratification for the sake of the bigger picture.
Let's say, I have set a long-time perspective goal of saving $50 per month for a duration of 20 years. What if, after a couple of years, I've decided to increase the amount from $50 to $100 per month?
Changing the amount saved will also change your end goals. If you increase your monthly savings amount, the accumulated volume will also becomes bigger after 20 years, or you will reach your 20 years target sooner than planned. However, a decrease in amount saved monthly will also lead towards not reaching the 20 years goal. Try not to commit below your target amount. In your case, under $50.
What if you stopped halfway?
You're a failure.
Stop talking!
A few moments later.
What if I stopped halfway, for example, skipping a few months, but making up for the amount due, when I got hold on my future income?
Be aware that when you skip, you will also misses out from the monthly dividend and interest rate equation. If you are filling in for the absence months, best that you pay for your monthly savings, plus an extra of, let's say, a month payment, to compensate for the loss.
What if I'm suddenly unemployed in my 10th year of saving, and couldn't afford to put in $50 a month, until God knows when?
Long-time perspective goal is a failure. Until God knows when.
Failure.
I would like to stress out the importance of being realistic, prudent and focused, within the time perspective of your intended savings goal. The first thoughts that should be going inside your mind would be, how realistic is your plan, over the time duration that you set, in order to achieve your financial goal? Going back to the couple that sets aside $50 every month for their child education fund. Imagine that they have to continuously and consistently do so, rain or shine, fire, thunder, snow, even when meteor rains down from the sky. Comes unemployment, economical crisis, even pandemic. As long as the couple are able to produce or procure $50 per month, they will put that amount into their children's education fund. No less. Under whatever circumstances, we should not use our saving funds for any other financial matters. Non-negotiable. Let's say you have set aside a pool of your income for your retirement fund. Never should the fund be disturbed or to be reasoned for other purposes. For example,
my friend is setting up a shop and asked me to invest in her business. She would be very grateful if I could inject $100,000 into her business project, but where would I find that incredible amount of money? Wait, I just remembered. I have allocated around $100,000 for my retirement funds a couple of years ago. What if I use that money first, and when I gain my share of profit from my friend's business, I just put it back into the retirement fund?
Nope.
What if your friend's business is not making any profits?
What if it does?
Nope.
What now?
It's too risky. This is your retirement fund we are talking about. The money allocated into the fund should only be used for your retirement. The only time when you can use the money is in the future, when you retired. Like I've said earlier, non-negotiable. The very act of lengthening our time perspective, of thinking far into the future, would change our attitude and personality. You begin plotting your own ways in getting rich by projecting yourself ahead 10 to 20 years into the future. As you do, this will also increase your capability in setting bigger long-term goals and setting up plans to accomplish them. We also become more thoughtful about our decisions, and become more sensitive to the long-term consequences of the way we invested our time and money. We will develop greater patience and perseverance to be a better, more positive person. From this day onwards, practice lengthening your time perspective. Start seeing everything that you are doing today as part of a long process that is moving you inexorably towards becoming a financially independent, if not rich, person over the course of your career. This is the mindset of the people who move continually upward and onward throughout their lives. I'm going to wrap this post today with the most common response that people have when talking about savings.
I'm too old to save.
In my opinion, saving for your future doesn't care about how old you are. All you need to do is to just start doing it.
Imagine deciding not to start saving when you're 80. Thinking that you are too old to save, and ended up living up till 150.